Welcome to the shooting show. This week, Chris Dalton shows us stalking, as it really is, with a couple of difficult days after red hinds. Plus we bring you all the latest news from the shooting world.
Just back from Kinnaird, Shaz and I. I've got a couple of clips actually. First one dealing with stags. We'd got Jeremy over from Switzerland. Actually came over to do his DSC level 1, which I think is a real big plus for us over here because I'm getting more and more people from, well, anywhere around the world actually, coming over to do our level 1 and also going on to do level 2. So I think that's testament to that we've got our stalking qualifications right when we're getting people that are coming over from all that way to do ours. But anyway, Jeremy came over to do his level 1. He had a couple of sort of a spare day really, so I wanted to try and get out with us for a cull stag, so we filmed that. Quite difficult conditions because you'll probably see the wind picked up. It was horrendous. It was a blinking storm force 10 gale I think, which made it hard. We kind of headed off up the hill and very quickly got into a group of hinds. There was a calf with them, which you'll see there was clearly something wrong with the calf. You could see it, its kind of back end was down. The hinds kind of moved off, the calf kind of stayed back. There was obviously something not right with it, so I told Jeremy that if we could get the shot we would take it because there was obviously something wrong. Unfortunately it just kind of meandered off and meandered off and meandered off and then kind of skylined, so the shot wasn't on. We continued a little bit further and again got into another group of deer, but the wind picked up and Jeremy probably waited a bit long for the shot, which was fine. I'd rather people were overcautious than sort of the opposite and we ended up with a wounding situation. So we kind of didn't get into those and then moved on further onto the hill. We then got into another group with a young stag in it and subsequently shot the stag. Unfortunately he pulled the shot, it was a little bit high and kind of spinal, so the deer went down like a sack of potatoes, which is classic spinal shot. We didn't get much of the first shot on camera because we were crawling across an open area of hill and Shaz was doing his best to follow us, but there's no way, if he'd just stuck up above us with the camera to actually film it, we've got an autofocus on the camera, so he's focused quite nicely on us and the heather and couldn't see the deer in the foreground. I think you can just see the shadows, but you will see the follow-up shots and that's what's happening there. So it shows you that occasionally when things go wrong, you need to deal with it, and Jeremy took exactly the right course of action. That's it. Okay. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Okay, well done. Yeah. Young stag. Just a spinal crease with the first, so yeah, exactly. Needed just to dispatch it. Okay then, we'll get this on. I'll just swing it up on one, so just back it up, yeah, okay. Okay, perfect. Keep it that way then, stop the blood draining out. Good. Now the easy bit, the ride to the pub. Second part of the clip, we're out to try and shoot a few hinds early season. Very frosty morning, not a lot of wind, but the frost was, I mean the temperature was rising, the frost was kind of lifting, and there was a lot of rain forecast to come in. We'd had a couple of we've been doing some level 2 work actually up there and some culling with guys for the previous 3 days. I think we'd shot sort of 8 or 9 deer, and it'd been pretty horrible conditions, quite frankly, with a lot of rain and mist, and we were hoping for a good day to do some filming, but that kind of betters as well. But anyway, we got an hour. So we got out onto the hill straight away into some hinds again and calves, which you'll see. We're able to use the gully to try and get into them, and it was the dog actually was indicating. So kind of we've got some nice footage of the dog and how the dog's working, and you'll see on film again the benefit of a good dog, because she's kind of telling us that there's deer, or she's telling me that there's deer over the hill long before we could see them. So you're immediately going down a cog and starting to think about really going slow and getting into a position where you might get a shot.
Okay, it's quite frosty this morning, as you can see. Just using the stream gully just to try and hide a bit of our noise, because it's quite crackly on the bracken. The dog's been indicating quite strongly coming up the hill. Got a little bit of a rug here, so we're going to use that just to try and mask our noise. There's a bit of a basin across the top, so that the way the dog's kind of indicating, she's picking deer up, so there's definitely something over here, hopefully close enough. We've already had a hind and a calf just on the side of the hill, but there was no safe shot because you're shooting up and your skyline, so we've let them move off. Fortunately, they've gone across that way and not disturbed anything up here. So I'll just check over this ridge.
Again, because of the situation, the wind had started to come in. There was really quite poor light. The deer were on a banking kind of around the corner on a knoll, and Shaz wasn't able to get them in shot because of those conditions. So you'll kind of hear the shot. Don't actually see the strike, unfortunately, but you will see the kind of follow-up.
I've just got a hind just off the banking here. Unfortunately, dog's having a drink. Couldn't get it on camera because it was just round the corner from where Shaz was. So if he'd have moved to film it, I'd have spooked it off the top of the hill. So just dropped, I think, just run the slope a little bit. I think dropped into the heather just up there. So we'll just give it 5 or 10 minutes to settle down. Sometimes when you get a situation like this, you can get other deer moving.
And again, it's quite useful with the dog work, because one of the things I like to do is the dog kind of went forward and found the deer, and occasionally it can be difficult finding the deer on the open hill, surprisingly enough. If they tumble down in heather, the shot's quite a long range. You may have marked the position slightly wrong, and it can be incredibly difficult to find them, so the dog's useful. So what I'll often do is I'll let her find the deer, show me where it is, and then I'll call her off it. And then I'll tell her to show me again, so she'll go back and show me the deer, and that's kind of simulating the situation you'll find yourself in sometimes in woodland. She's quite a quiet dog, she's very fast, and she's on the deer straight away. I might be 30-40 yards in front of me, and in a woodland environment I can't see her. So I'll kind of press on to where she is, call her back, tell her to show me, and then I can see her actually go forward. So it's a good exercise to do every now and again with a dog, just to get her used to doing that. Show me. Good girl, good girl, good girl, good girl. Got an old hind here, quite a long muzzle. She'd no calf with her. There was another hind and a calf, and she actually run about 30 metres. She's just come over the top of the hill and then tumbled down here. So we'll get a growler, and I'll do a full growler on the hill, because we can literally get the machine right into the deer, so there's no need to do a field growler. We can actually do the full thing. I'll just clear the rifle and then we can get that done and get her back in the larder. Performed very well, this rifle. It's the one I've used now for the last 6 months. I never kind of use anything else. It's a good bit of kit. Again, really accurate out of the box. On the hill, I tend to zero an inch high to 100 anyway, so that's where we set up. Apex Predator as usual. Everything in it. I don't have to think about picking kit up or forgetting kit, because it's all in there. Not quite big enough to put this hind in. One of the disadvantages of hill stalking when you've got these big beasties. Another bit of kit I always carry these days on the hill is a big day glow tape, because it's amazing when you leave the deer maybe a mile and a half on the hill, everything looks okay, you know where you're going to find it again, and then you can't blink and find it. So what I do is, I know where it is here because the bike's only over there, but I lay a big this somewhere on a bit of high ground, on a bit of heather, and then you can actually get back and find your deer. I nearly got caught out once before with that, and it took me 40 minutes to find a deer that I'd left on the hill. Could I find it? But like I said, you learn your lesson. The boots from Harriet, which I've been wearing now for about 6 months, are absolutely fantastic. They've done a big stag season on the hill where we've done a lot of work up at Kinnaird. Not a hint of water, not a hint of wet foot at all, and they've had some pretty interesting conditions from 80 degrees on the hill to latterly it's been actually peeing it down to sort of freezing conditions. So they've now had a test throughout all of those conditions, and I'm extremely impressed with them. And then the other bit of kit that I've been wearing, a lot of this Swazi, I mean, I'm a great fan of that kit anyway for the hill. What they've now developed is a really good fleece, which is great for stalking in summer, in the evening, and also on the hill and to the warm days we've had when you don't want a lot of kit on. These just give you everything, a little bit of wind protection, really comfortable to wear. So again, good kit out there on the market, and this is particularly good.
And now, it's the Shooting Show News.
This is the Shooting Show News. 2019 could be a challenging year for field sports, according to leading political figures. Basque chairman Peter Glenser said the year presented some serious challenges, including fighting the ban on shooting on Welsh public land, solving the problem of medical involvement in firearms licensing, and the political uncertainties of Brexit. And the Environment Secretary Michael Gove has said a no-deal Brexit could present huge difficulties for small businesses in the countryside. Fox hunting enjoys as much support as ever if the meets over the festive period are anything to go by. More than 250 registered hunts assemble for the Boxing Day meets, supported by hundreds of thousands of people. Scotland's packs enjoyed similar support on New Year's Day. The Countryside Alliance's head of hunting said the assembled crowds proved that the future of hunting is secure. Reckon you can make a difference to the future of shooting? Basque is looking for people to stand for its council. If you're successful, you'll be on the national governing board of the UK's biggest shooting organisation. To put yourself forward, download an application form from the Basque website and send it to the Chief Executive by the end of the month. Elections will be held later this year. And finally, with voting still taking place in the Great British Shooting Awards, we take a look at one of the categories you can have your say in. This week it's the Ammunition of the Year award, and the nominees are Air Arms Diabolo Field, Ely Hawk Titanium, Ely 22 LR Subsonic, Game Ball Black Gold Game, Lepua Naturalis. Which do you think should win the award? Have your say by heading to greatbritishshootingawards.com. That was the Shooting Show News.
Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And if you're not a member of Basque, it's time to join now. Basque, looking after your sport, looking after you. This has been The Shooting Show.